Boker Tov, today's daf is daf Memtes. I'm trying to figure out the science here, why the screen is so dark. Maybe if I move it this way, same thing. I don't know, I can't understand it. And if I close the tris, it's also dark. Let me just try it again. Maybe that's a little bit better, maybe. Okay, then. So on Daf Memtes, the Gemara continues with Rabbi Akiva and all the drashos about the dinim, like the heter of Tumah in the cases of Nazir and Kohen Gadol for Mes Mitzvah. We had a little bit of an interlude here because the Gemara here on Daf Mem Chesam and Beis analyzed the drashos according to Rabbi Yishmael, but earlier on Daf Mem Chesam and Beis we have the drashos according to Rabbi Akiva, and the question now becomes the words that are superfluously aviv le'imo. Ul Rabbi Akiva, the Gemara says, Michti Loshna Kohen Gadol l'chudei Loshna Kohen Gadol v'hu Nazir nafka mili achiv. So Rabbi Akiva on Daf Mem Chesam and Beis derived from the pasuk li'achiv, the extra word li'achiv, that even if you have a double kedusha and you have a Kohen Gadol is also a Nazir, nevertheless they will be metame for a mes mitzvah. And once we derive that from li'achiv, then li'aviv u'li'imo, lamali, those two words, li'aviv li'imo, become superfluous. Why do we need them? And we don't need li'aviv li'imo to teach me the Iser Tumah, because that we know from Al Kol Nefashos Meis Lo Yava. And Rabbi Akiva had already derived from Al Kol Nefashos Meis Lo Yavo that a Kohen Gadol is not mitame to his closest relatives. We don't need the pasuk li'av li'imo to teach me a heter in the case of mes mitzvah, because that we derive from li'achiv. And the Gemara answers trifi. I still need li'aviv li'imo to teach me that a Kohen Gadol is enjoined from being mitame, both in the cases of the loss of his father and the loss of his mother. And the Gemara is going to now create tzrichusas in both directions. If we only had aviv, we would not know imo. If we only had imo, we would not know aviv. The ikos of aviv, if the Torah only prohibited a Kohen Gadol to be mitame to aviv, havamina, hainu tamilo mitame le mishum dechazok bi'almahu. We have a principle called Rov Bilos Achar Baal. We never know for certain, with absolute certainty, that this is the father. This is before DNA testing, I suppose, that the halacha might change. But in any event, we are not going to allow a Kohen Gadol to be mitame for someone who may or may not be his father. However, Aval imo yadin delidite, you have the Yoledes who can testify that this baby was born to this mother, and therefore she certainly is the mother without a doubt, is then maybe litamila. Maybe in such a case that's vadai, then he would have a mitzvah to be mitami for the sake of burial of his mother. And therefore I need the word li'imo. Because li'imo, if the Torah only said imo, hava, I would have thought dafke imo lo litamila. There's a certain superior yichus in the relationship between a son and his father that doesn't exist between the son and his mother. And why is that? In the case of a mother, so the zera of the mother is not miyuchas to her, but rather to her husband, to the father. So therefore, the kurva relationship between a son and a mother is not the same as it is between a son and a father. And in fact, the Torah tells us at the beginning of Sefer Bamidbar, which is the parsha of counting Bnei Yisrael Se'u Es Rosh Kol Adas Bnei Yisrael, it goes by Mishpachosan Lebeis Avosan. And this gives us the principle called Mishpachas Ha'av Kruya Mishpacha, Mishpachas Ha'im Eino Kruya Mishpacha. So the Ben is Miyuchas Achar Aviv. And therefore I might say that even though the Torah enjoins the Kohen Gadol from being Mitame and burying his mother, but nevertheless the Torah would have allowed the Kohen Gadol to be Mitame to his father. Kamash Malan, and therefore I need the Posically Avili Imo to generate an Isur Tuma, even in the case of Aviv. So we need both Aviv and Imo. Imo, because we would have thought that Aviv is a different kind of an issue of Safek, and maybe in the case, if the Torah would have enjoined only Aviv, maybe Imo would be Mutter, and the other way around, had the Torah only enjoined him in the case of Imo, maybe the Torah would allow in the case of Aviv, because Mishpachas Av Kruya Mishpacha. Now, after these droshos of the pasuk that it says in Parshas Naso, with regard to the Parshas Nazir, Al Nefesh Meis Lo Yavel Yav Le'imo, etc. Now we have the droshos in the Parsha of Kohen Gadol in Emor, Al Kol Nafshos Meis Lo Yavel. So the Gemara asks, Al Kol Nafshos Meis Lo Yavel Lomali. Why, according to Rabbi Akiva, do we need this pasuk? Al Kol Nafshos Meis Lo Yavel. How is Rabbi Akiva going to interpret it? And at this point, the Gemara is assuming that you could derive the Isur of Tumah in a Kohen Gadol's case from the Isur of Tumah in the case of a Nazir.